All right, welcome. I am Beth Reberger, the manager of Harper Wellness at Harper College, and today we are talking with some folks from the WINGS program, which is a program within the Palatine community. So I have these two wonderful folks with me. I will let the two of you introduce yourselves and maybe give a little bit of information about what you do. And if you want to go ahead and start, Sharon.
I'm Sharon Mickelson. I'm a family advocate with the WINGS program. I've been with WINGS for about 7 years. And my role as a family advocate is to work with the women in the program to help them, to support them in whatever their goals may be. So I work with them on finding long-term housing, creating budgets, money management, and then whatever their individual goals are. So some may want to get their GED or get a bachelor's degree or learn a new skill like cooking. So I'm there to kind of provide services where I can support, and where I can't, I go ahead and find them somebody who can support them.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Ilona Josek. I'm one of the children's advocates at WINGS program. I've been with WINGS for over 4 years, so I work with our families, both parents and children. I provide individual and group counseling for children and women and our residents. I also provide advocacy and assistance with school and daycares. I meet with families on a weekly basis. If it's needed, I meet with them more often to provide ongoing support.
Wow. So just hearing the two of you talk, you do quite a few things in your roles, right? Which is awesome and needed. But thinking about that, I know some folks in the community might not be as familiar with WINGS. So can you tell us a little bit about the mission of WINGS? And in addition, can you talk about some of those programs or resources and services that are offered through WINGS? And I think the two of you kind of touched on those, but if you could expand maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So WINGS is a nonprofit organization serving individuals and families experiencing domestic violence. So we have 2 emergency domestic violence shelters, one in suburbs, one in the city. We also have 3 shared homes and over 40 apartments. We provide transitional housing services, children's services. We also have a counseling program and mentoring program. I don't know, Sharon, if you want to expand on it.
Yeah, just a little bit more. So the mission of WINGS is to provide housing, integrated services, education, and advocacy to end domestic violence. So with our services, we try to touch on each of those areas. I think Ilona explained what a majority of our programs. We do also have a mentoring program. So when people leave our program after they've been with us for 2 years, they can be assigned a mentor to help them transition into their life of independence. We also have it's called the ALAS program. So that's for our Latinx clients. It provides support for them. They may not be in our program, but they may be receiving counseling services at one of our hospital sites, or just attending support meetings. So, and aside from that, we also have career services that clients can meet with to help them kind of figure out. A lot of the people who come into the program have been dependent upon somebody for so long. So the career services is really important because it helps them figure out how they're going to support their family, what they want to do in life. And these are choices they've probably never made before. So they get the support of that as well. And our wonderful volunteers that are there to do anything that we ask of them. So right now I have some volunteers who are doing, fixing up the houses for us, or they may be working with a client to obtain their GED and doing that extra tutoring to get them up to speed on their education. So I think that's the majority of it.
Wow. I just want to take a moment to say, wow, because, the amount of services and resources that you provide to so many folks who are in need in a variety of different ways is just mind-blowing, but also important. And so I just want to, first of all, say thank you, because it just blows me away about the amount of resources that are available and that you all are doing for the community and beyond. So just hearing you talk, I was just amazed. So thank you for that.
If I could, I was just, there are so many things that Wings provides for families. Another that just came to mind is we have our own pantry. So if families are in need of food or if they have Link and they run out of their Link benefits, we are able to provide food for them. And then we also have our resale stores that help to clothe the clients and also provide furniture for their apartments. If they move into one of our apartments, we give them a voucher and they're able to furnish their apartment fully.
Wow. And so thinking about that, one of the questions that I have for you all is that what are ways in which the Harper community and beyond could help assist Wings? And I'm assuming, especially during the pandemic, things look a little bit different as well, or maybe the needs are a little bit different, or people are in need of these resources even more. So could you talk a little bit about ways in which Harper or the community could assist?
Yeah, definitely. So we welcome everyone who has any kind of donations, clothing, toys, furniture. They can be donated in one of our 3 locations. Our research stores are located in Schaumburg, Niles, and Arlington Heights. Also, if you would like to discover more ways how to engage with our agency, you can visit our website at wingsprogram.com. We have great, like Sharon said, we have great volunteering opportunities and also internship opportunities. We are always grateful for all community support. So yeah, if you would like to donate, please visit our locations.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Can I also say, the volunteers that we have are wonderful, but we're always looking for new volunteers. So that's a great way for people to get involved and really help us out. We have a manager of volunteer services. So on our website, they can reach out to her and sign up. Another way to get involved and help Wings is to attend one of our events. So we have several events and we're learning to go virtual. So this will be our first virtual event happening October 3rd. So it's our virtual Purple Tie Ball, but everybody's always welcome to sign up and come to one of our events.
Great, thank you. And you mentioned donations. Are there specific donations or products that you're in specific need of? And maybe could you talk a little bit more about what that would be, or what those would be?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. So we have a specific list of items that are really needed for different programs, and that list is also located on our website. So if you ever have questions of if you can donate specific item or you cannot, you can check the website, or you can also contact one of our research stores for details. But definitely clothing, toys, books, furniture, shoes,
diapers,
toilet paper.
Great.
And can I add, a lot of people now are doing, they're hosting their own donation drives. So, when you're having a birthday party or something, a lot of people don't like to ask for gifts for themselves. It's great to be able to give to an organization. So bring a gift to donate, or if your child wants to get involved somehow, it's a great way to do a donation drive for Wings.
Thank you. And if they wanted to donate money directly, they would just go to your website. And is there a way to do that?
Yes, definitely. You can visit our website for monetary gifts as well, donations. Uh, and all the details are listed on the website as well.
Okay, perfect. So thinking about that, especially during the pandemic, I know you talked about some ways in which that you're serving the community, but reading some things in the news, especially like domestic violence rates have been rising, and I think there has been an increase in mental health issues as well. So could you talk a little bit more about how maybe your services have changed or altered, especially throughout the pandemic?
So there is definitely more calls to the domestic violence hotline. We see the increase because of people losing their jobs, people being stuck at home. There is more children witnessing domestic violence and being abused. So we definitely see the increase, and thanks to our wonderful staff from both shelters, we are able to provide services in person. So that's a big thank you to all the staff that are working every day in person with our clients. As for children's services, majority of our services is virtual right now. We do meet in person with our clients if possible, but we had to use lots of creativity and flexibility to switch from in-person to virtual counseling sessions. So definitely it was a big change for us, but I think with the support from all programs, we were able to meet that challenge.
Which, just hearing you all talk, that sounds like in your jobs you have to be flexible and adaptable, which is what all of you have been doing, especially during the pandemic. Anything else you want to add?
I think it's also important, during this time, it's very easy for people to feel disconnected. So letting our clients know you're not alone, we're there to support you. And like Ilona said, if it can't be done virtually, we will go in and meet face-to-face, taking the proper precautions. It just requires us to be a little more flexible and creative in the way that we're meeting with people. And during this time, I think we're doing a really good job of also growing our relationships within the community. So reaching out to the churches and the government offices or whatever it may be to continue that relationship. We still have, the clients still have their needs, and we have to meet them somehow. So it's really important to have those relationships as well.
Great, thank you. Mm-hmm. And expanding on that a little bit, since folks are staying home a little bit more and things look a little bit different, can you just tell all the viewers what are some of the signs of domestic violence, and what can a person do if he or she witnesses domestic violence and or is experiencing domestic violence themselves?
So I think the physical abuse is what most people envision when they hear domestic violence. So there are other forms of violence, and it's may not be something that you would see signs of, like a bruising or battery or something like that. So you look at the psychological abuse, the control of somebody, the sexual abuse, the economic abuse, stalking as well. Cyber stalking is a big issue right now. So those are all forms of domestic violence that we look for. Psychological abuse, I guess if you looked at the power and control somebody's trying to gain over somebody and what that looks like. It could be somebody trying to isolate their victim. And so if you know somebody who it looks like they're not making as much contact with you, or they seem like the abuser is always with them and doesn't give them any alone time, those would be some signs that you're looking at. Economic abuse. Does somebody have to ask for money? Is there, do they have their own checking account? Just any kind of control over the money, I guess, is something that we're looking for. And then the cyber stalking, and that is somebody, tracking people through the internet or on their phone. So just to see, is somebody have to check in a lot at home with their spouse? Is the person calling them often at work? So there's somewhat subtle signs, and they could be nothing, but it's just something to kind of keep an eye on and look for.
And just to expand on that, I think, especially in our culture, something that I hear people often say is like, well, it's not my business. And so I think, do you have anything to add to that, of like, if they do see some of those subtle signs, maybe it's not anything, but I guess, what could a person do if they did pick up on some of those things?
I think it's okay to inquire. It may be uncomfortable. And I think we all play a role in ending domestic violence in one way or another. And it doesn't have to be, you're working for an agency or something, but, if you notice something, strike up a conversation and say, hey, I heard about this agency, and, this is their phone number or whatever, in case you happen to know anybody. And you can just be as discreet as that and pass the information along. And then it's their chance to do something with the information.
Yeah. And I like what you just said. It's, you don't have to be overt about it, but you're doing something. You're providing that resource, whether they take it or not, you at least are giving them that information.
I can just add to it also, domestic violence starts in isolation, and unfortunately it isolates the survivor, the victim, even further if there is no resources or no one really who is compassionate enough to ask. And many of our clients, what I noticed throughout the years, they stayed, a long time with the partner because they didn't know about resources. They didn't know that there is emergency shelter. They didn't know that they can call and ask for help. So I think that's so important, just to to create the events in the community, to like you creating your YouTube videos, just to engage community and engage young people as well in ending domestic violence. And also, as for children who are victims of domestic violence, either they're victims or they witness domestic violence, I want to say big thank you to our schools, because many times teachers and school social workers are the first one who spot domestic violence signs, right? And they see children who might be more withdrawal, children who might act out, children who might come to school in dirty clothes or maybe without food. So these are some signs that many teachers and school social workers report. And they can also connect families with resources in the community.
Wow, which I think is a key message that I heard from the two of you, is that we all can play a part in ending domestic violence, that we all play a part in being an active bystander, even though it might be uncomfortable at times, right? But if we see something, it's important to say something. And I think what you said is, a lot of times folks who finally got help, if they would have known about some resources ahead of time or had been exposed, they maybe would have gotten help a little bit earlier. And so I think that's an important message, that sometimes we don't think that it's our business or that we have a part in ending domestic violence, but in reality, us just doing something or providing those resources can go a long way for folks.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was going to add too, another easy way to get involved is for people who are employed to ask their employer about the DV policy, or if you don't have one, what about getting one? Why isn't there one in place? And that way, the employer, and I think, everybody has an obligation to help end domestic violence, and having the support of your employer would be a great thing if it was done everywhere.
Thank you. So one of my last questions here is that, what do you want the Harper community to know about Wings or the people that you serve?
Well, that I think that DV happens everywhere. It is in the northwest suburbs. We do have the families we're serving. There is no typical stereotype of that person. It can be your coworker, your neighbor, somebody in your family. And we need to not make it a shameful thing for the victim. We all need to be able to support people, and people need to figure out in what way they feel comfortable supporting, but we can all play a role in it.
Yeah. And domestic violence does not discriminate, so it happens across race, gender, socioeconomic status, religion lines, everywhere, and we experience that with our clients. And also, I just want to say that if you're watching this video and if you are someone who's not feeling safe in your relationship or has concerns and doesn't know what to do, please reach out. Please reach out, utilize resources that we provide, give us a call. And even if you're not ready to leave, you can receive counseling and you can work on your safety planning, and you work on receiving other resources that you need, that you and your children need.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to thank the two of you and your agency, because I think now, especially, essential workers like you all are really important in so many different ways in our community. And I think the two of you touched on that as well, is that domestic violence doesn't discriminate, and if you need help, there is no shame in reaching out and asking for that help, and Wings can certainly be that first step for you, and that there are many options available to individuals. So thank you. Well, I am glad to finally meet the two of you virtually, and hopefully one day it'll be in person. But again, thank you for your time today and sharing your resources and this information with our Harper community.
Thank you.
Thank you.